Okay. Good evening. Come on now. I know y'all been drinking your little, beverages. Good evening. Look, my name is Tashara Parker. I work at WFAA ABC right across the street, Channel 8 News. Happy to be here with you this evening, especially during my bedtime. I'm on the morning news way early, 5 to 7 o'clock every morning. If you don't tune in, go ahead and change the channel. But yes, so happy to be here with you and be a part of this event. One of the things that I do at WFAA is I do traffic, travel, transportation, all of that type of reporting. And I think that's part of the reason that I was invited to be here with you this evening. Are we doing okay this evening? Yes? How many of us been up since 2 a.m.? So I'm gonna need a little more energy, okay? So can you clap one time if you're happy to be in the building? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so this is going to serve as your official welcome to the inaugural Dallas area Rapid Transit State of the Agency. We have a great program for you tonight. In just a moment, I will turn things over to Dev Rastogi of AECOM, our presenting sponsor this evening. Now, following Dev's remarks, I'll be back to welcome DART President and CEO Nadine Lee. Nadine will share DART's vision for the future. Later, I will join Nadine and DART Board of Directors members Michelle Wong-Krause and Chair Gary Slagle for a discussion on the future of mobility in the Dallas region. It is going to be a great evening. How many of you had 2 drinks? Oh, y'all ain't gonna raise your hand? How many? Okay, thank you. Thank you, friend in the front row, and you in the front row, okay? It's gonna be great. Look, I'd like to take a moment real quick just to thank our sponsors this evening. Presenting sponsor AECOM and AT&T Performing Arts Center, our rider level sponsor. Can we give a round of applause for both of our sponsors? I also want to take a moment to recognize our elected officials or representatives as well of our elected officials. If you could please stand for us. Thank you. Thank you all so much for your service to our Dallas region. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dev Rastogi of AECOM. Dev Rastogi, Senior Vice President, Dallas Executive, and a Transportation Regional Business Line Leader. She is responsible for strategy and growth of AECOM's business in North Texas, as well as the AECOM's transportation business in the Gulf Coast region, which includes Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. A proven leader with 40 years of experience successfully delivering solutions for complex projects in the public and private sectors, Dev has worked with clients including the City of Dallas, Dallas County, the United States Army Corps of Engineers, DART, of course, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, Texas Department of Transportation, Perot Museum of Nature and Science, and Frito-Lay. Dev, who haven't you worked with now? Please help me welcome Dev Rastogi.
Thank you so much, Tashara, for that warm introduction. And as Wendy said, I really need to cut that introduction down a little bit. So anyway, AECOM is excited to be the presenting sponsor for the inaugural DART State of the Agency event. We're happy to see all of you here tonight as we come together to celebrate and support the important work of our transit agency. North Texas is growing at a rapid rate, and DART is such an important partner in the community, integral to North Texas's economy, environment, and quality of life. Most impactful is DART's importance to people who rely on DART to connect them to jobs, education, healthcare, and recreational opportunities. DART promotes accessibility, inclusivity, and is committed to providing safe, reliable, efficient transit options to our citizens, commuters, and visitors. AECOM is proud to be associated with an organization that plays such an impactful role in our community. As a global infrastructure consulting firm, AECOM's vision is a world where infrastructure creates opportunities for everyone, uplifts communities, improves access, and creates a sustainable planet. So we share DART's beliefs in the power of public transportation to transform cities and improve the lives of its residents. As a partner to DART over its 40-year history, AECOM has supported your mission by bringing our best people, some of who are in the front row, so please give them a round of applause, AECOM folks. our best ideas, technical expertise to turn ambition into action. From the very early days of program management services to general engineering consulting work, to general planning consulting work, even a job shopper contract, to work on your transit centers and facility condition assessments, we've been with you since the beginning. AECOM has provided nearly every type of service to DART, from planning to environmental to engineering services, and for every mode, light rail, streetcar, and bus. And we continue to support DART as it evolves to meet our region's mobility needs. In fact, we're currently working with DART and other transit agencies, leading initiatives such as automated buses. DART has also been an important part of my personal journey. Professionally, as a young engineer, I had the opportunity to hone my engineering skills on your starter system, to be a project manager on environmental contracts, and to serve as principal in charge to our current general planning consultant contract, where we're providing guidance on DART's bus and strategic rail plans focused on the customer experience. Working for one of AECOM's legacy companies, Wendy Lopez/Lopez Garcia Group, I had a front row seat to DART's commitment to grow and include women and minority-owned businesses. But my biggest aha moment about DART came last year when I became a regular paratransit user. Due to an unfortunate accident, I was in a wheelchair and needed transportation assistance. And I remember my very first paratransit ride. The driver picked me up promptly at 7 a.m., and I noticed there wasn't anybody else in the van, so I asked the driver if I was his first customer of the day, and he politely said, "No, ma'am. I start at 5 a.m. when I pick up kidney dialysis patients." So that ride was one of many stories of the impact DART has on people's lives. So I'd really like to express my gratitude to all DART employees for their dedication and hard work. You guys can clap. Thank you. So for these reasons, AECOM's partnership with DART makes sense, and we look forward to collaborating as the journey continues. So let me turn the program back to Shara, and let's keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb, and thank you for sharing that incredible story. I'm sure there are so many just like it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your support. Real quick, this is not on my program, and they're probably gonna look at me like, girl, what are you doing? Can I have all the organizers, if you played a part in getting tonight together, can you stand for me if you were an organizer tonight? I'm looking over here, y'all to my right. Can y'all stand? All the folks who had something to do with tonight's program, can we please give them a round of applause? Thank y'all so much. It takes a lot of work to make this happen. Our next speaker is someone you're very familiar with. She joined DART as president and CEO in the summer of 2021. Nadine Lee leverages the talents of 3,700 employees to deliver connected and seamless mobility for their entire service area. Previously, Nadine served in the roles of Chief of Staff and Deputy Chief Innovation Officer for Los Angeles County Metro, where she established a Vision 2028 strategic plan, the Offices of Equity and Race and Customer Experience, and the Better Bus program. Prior to LA, Nadine led the development and implementation of the Flatiron Flyer Bus Rapid Transit for Denver's Regional Transportation District, a project that produced a 40% increase in corridor ridership in its very first few months of service. Nadine is a professional engineer by training and believes firmly that public transportation agencies, transit agencies that is, play a critical role in ensuring a brighter and more resilient future for everyone. Now, she is committed to using her performance measurement and continuous improvement to elevate the quality of DART's mobility services for the benefit of everyone in North Texas. Please help me welcome the boss lady, Nadine Lee.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. The biggest trick was trying to get up the stairs without tripping. Well, thank you very much for being here tonight. Thanks for joining me and the DART Board of Directors in our very first State of the Agency event. It's an exciting time here at DART, and I am so pleased to have this opportunity to share with you our journey forward as we have planned for the next decade. DART was formed in 1983 with a focus on expanding infrastructure to connect communities and to provide viable transportation for all people. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary in August, and we are taking this opportunity to look back with pride on our accomplishments and also look forward to the future. Over the last 40 years, DART, along with all of you, has spent a great deal of energy laying the foundation for a wonderful multimodal transit system to serve the 13 cities in our service area, connecting the region as never before and setting businesses and communities up for future growth and prosperity. We thank everyone who brought this regional transit system to fruition. Tonight's State of the Agency is the first in an annual series, an opportunity for us to share all we've accomplished over the last year, and it's also a touch point for charting our progress to the amazing future that we have planned. We will bring these events to different service area cities each year. For our first, we chose this location, the Bernice Johnson Union Station, with great intention. The station itself is a historic, regional, multimodal hub, and Congresswoman Bernice Johnson, for whom the building is named, is a beloved icon who served the 30th Congressional District for 30 years and played an instrumental role in making the DART system what it is today. Congresswoman Johnson secured hundreds of millions of dollars for DART during her tenure, including a landmark $700 million full funding grant agreement from the Federal Transit Administration, the largest ever awarded to DART at the time. While Congresswoman Johnson could not be with us tonight, we are so fortunate to be here in this beautiful space that bears her name. Congresswoman Johnson epitomizes the best of our elected and appointed leaders at all levels of government. And of course, she had many partners along the way. And we'd like to just take a moment to thank all of the elected officials here with us tonight, along with our current and former board members. The future is bright for the Dallas region. We are what the national media has dubbed America's boomtown. All indications point to DFW as the fastest growing region in the United States, expected to surpass Chicagoland as the third largest metro by the next decade. The North Central Texas Council of Governments projects an additional 4 million people coming to the region, along with 3 million jobs, over the next 20 years. The DFW region is already an economic powerhouse, attracting business at every turn to every corner of the region. And according to the Dallas Regional Chamber, this region is now home to 49 Fortune 1000 headquarters. There's also a lot of interest in development and redevelopment in the northern suburbs and in southern Dallas County, away from our historical hubs, and this phenomenon is generating additional demands on our precious resources. As the region continues to grow, street space is fast becoming the commodity that is in high demand but short supply. Take a look at this illustration. Driving alone uses valuable street space very inefficiently in comparison to riding a bus or using a bike. Taking Uber is tantamount to driving solo. Electric cars still take space even though their emissions may be sourced elsewhere. And as far as our autonomous future goes, we don't have enough space for single occupant vehicles, so what are we going to do when we have zero occupant vehicles running around? And let's not forget that the growth of Amazon Prime Delivery and Uber Eats further exacerbates the insatiable demand for street space. The bottom line, congestion and delay limit economic productivity, and as the fastest growing region in the country with aspirations to attract more and more business, we need to have a new approach to ensure that we, along with our 4 million new neighbors, can still travel freely and thrive. The future economic integrity of this region depends on a new approach to transportation. So we are taking DART into a new era. We see transit as part of an integrated transportation network, with each mode performing to its highest and best use. In fact, our vision is to leverage DART as a strategic economic and mobility asset. DART must provide the additional transportation capacity needed to keep pace with the rapid growth projected over the next 20 years. We won't get there overnight, and all that said, we've still got to take steps to prepare for the future. So today and every day, we are focused on the operational fundamentals of security, cleanliness, and reliability. Specifically, the safety of our passengers and employees will always be a top priority for DART. Our DART Police Department is now under the direction of Charlie Cato. Chief Cato, can you please stand? There he is. Chief Cato previously served as the chief of the Mesquite Police Department, and prior to that, he was second in command at the Dallas Police Department. Thank you, Chief. Chief Cato and our DART police officers are working hard to keep everyone safe on the DART system. He and his staff are confronting security issues head-on. As we see our partner cities also tackling crime, we know that these issues are not unique to the transit system. And we want you to know that we are doing everything we can to work with our city partners to ensure public safety throughout the region. In the future, addressing these core issues will be part of our operational DNA, things that are second nature to us, and we are going to be able to spend our time, more of our time, finding ways to surprise and delight our riders throughout their journeys on DART. Looking forward to our strategic plan, this is how we think about the future and how we will pursue our vision of becoming a strategic economic and mobility asset for the region. It all starts with a customer focus, a strong customer focus. For our customers, we aspire to cultivate lifelong relationships and brand loyalty. We will strive to make every journey the best experience. Everything we do reflects on DART's brand and reputation. For this reason, we will improve the quality of the brand experience when someone rides our system or any time a person interacts with DART. Along with that, we will ensure that our services connect seamlessly and easily so that people can ride transit with confidence and the certainty of a smooth and reliable trip. For our agency, we want to clear the path for our employees to do their best work. We want to set them up for success so that each individual and team can contribute to raising the profile of the DART brand. We want our staff to show up each day with a strong sense of professional pride, because people in our communities deserve that level of dedication and commitment. All our aspirations will require strategic relationships built across partner cities, community organizations, and the private sector. For our cities and communities, we will provide the services that connect new destinations and activity centers, adding capacity to our local streets, and helping our cities grow without adding lanes. We want to leverage DART to help our cities achieve the quality of life objectives captured in their own visionary plans. One of the hallmarks of our strategy is to transform DART real estate assets to create fantastic spaces for people to enjoy around our transit hubs. We will fill in the voids between station platforms and the surrounding neighborhoods to blend transit into the landscape and maximize the economic and social potential of surface parking that would otherwise sit empty. These hopes and dreams for activating space will be fulfilled through close partnerships and working relationships with cities, community organizations, developers, and stakeholders. Together, we can make places that attract more residents to the DART service area. And ultimately, we can make the DART cities the best places to live in North Texas. As the caretakers of DART, we are thrilled about the future we have planned. We know that DART will be an undeniable asset for the community and will promote and sustain the excellent quality of life here in the region. So you might ask, how can we join DART on this journey? Well, let me give you a few ways. First of all, engage with us. I have a new monthly newsletter. I invite you to sign up for it by visiting dart.org/leadingmobility. Also, when you checked in tonight, we distributed 40th anniversary tap cards. Please use them to take a ride on DART, on us. And when you do, please let us know what you think of your ride. Send us an email at leadingmobility@dart.org. We want your feedback so that we can continue to make your ride on DART the best it can be. So thank you so much for coming to this event. And now, joining me to further discuss DART's vision, I'd like to introduce our immediate past chair, Michelle Wong-Krause, and our newly elected chair, Gary Slagle.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so we just welcomed to the stage here Michelle Wong-Krause and Board Chair Gary Slagle. I'd like to briefly introduce Michelle and Gary. Michelle Wong-Krause was appointed to the DART Board in 2014, representing the city of Dallas, an attorney in private practice with the Wong-Krause Law Firm of Dallas. Michelle recently completed a 2-year term as the DART Board Chair. She currently serves as Chair of the American Public Transportation Association Board of Directors. Gary Slagle, a former Richardson mayor, was appointed to the DART Board in 2011, representing Richardson, University Park, Addison, and Highland Park. The CEO of Capital Soft Inc., he is a former president of the Metroplex Mayors Association and a former president of the North Central Texas Council of Governments. Gary's DART Board colleagues elected him as their board chair for a 2-year term last month. So congratulations to Gary. Okay, so Michelle, we are going to start with you. You just finished 2 years serving as the chair of the DART Board, and you represent the city of Dallas on that board. Tell us about some of your goals heading into your term as chair, and how did you work with your board colleagues to accomplish those goals?
Thank you very much. So back in 2019, when I became vice chair, that was a different world. So one of my desires was to improve the relationships between our sister agencies, Trinity Metro and DCTA up in Denton. We had some challenges and tenseness between the 3 transit agencies, and so that was one of my goals, because a cohesive cooperation on a regional basis benefits all 3 agencies. The other thing that I wanted to do was take a look at innovative technologies and how they can improve our service here in North Texas. However, as you know, COVID happened, so that threw everything outside the window. So when I came into my chairship in 2021, October, we had just come through a VRIP, a Volunteer Retirement Incentive Program. And it proved to be very popular, more than anticipated. So we had lost our CEO, top staff leadership on our capital projects, and a lot of our experienced employees. So we were dealing with that. We, of course, had just hired our wonderful CEO, Nadine Lee, and we were dealing with still the fallout from COVID. Ridership was at a downturn, and so we were dealing with that. We were dealing with Silver Line Capital project. We had supply chain issues, workforce issues, and those are still to this day having resounding into all aspects of public transit. And so the one thing about our 13 member cities is we all want to provide a quality transit experience, but we had 13 ways of how do we get there. So going out and doing area plans and listening to our member cities and finding out what their priorities are, I think is very key to having a more cohesive viewpoint as we go down into the future, and so that we can be collaborative and communicate with each other. It has been a challenge to be honest, the different visions from the different member cities. And I think in order for us to continue to provide the best quality public transit and get our residents to where they need to go, we need to be collaborative.
And that's part of your efforts to continue making that collaborative effort come to
Absolutely,
fruition.
and we need to continue to do that.
Okay, thank you so much. Gary, I want to turn to you, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
How you feel?
Real great.
Okay, good. You've been on the board now for 12 years, representing Richardson, University Park, Addison, and Highland Park. Tell us a little bit about the evolution of DART in the time that you have been on the board. And then I really want you to share your vision for your time as board chair for the next 2 years.
Very good. Well, it is interesting that I have been involved with DART for 36 years. On the DART board for 12, but 24 of those first years I was on Richardson City Council, and for a good portion of that as mayor. So I've worked with DART for a long time and have seen the tremendous value the DART has for cities that are a part of this organization. Fortunately, Richardson saw that opportunity when DART started to come into Richardson. So now we have 4 stations, 4 TODs, or 3 TODs. The 4th one is being built as we speak. So it's been very successful. The interesting thing since I've been on DART is that been some tremendous changes. Before I entered, and I will not take credit for doing this,
Okay.
but before I joined the board, we had no transportation from DART to the airport, either of the airports. And now we have a green line that touches the Love Field area. And then we have the orange line that actually goes into DFW. And we're working on a silver line that will go across the top of the Metroplex into DFW. So those are tremendous advantages for our region, and will be helpful to travelers as well as people who come in from other parts of the country to visit us, because we are in ways a destination. The other thing that I think is really important is we're spending some time with the systems we have already. And we're looking at upgrading the TRE, which is also a connection from this building to downtown Fort Worth. That's very important. Plus, we're going through a lot of analysis now of the resources we have on the ground. The rail lines are now starting to get a little older, and we're looking at doing some replacement as well. So I think that's important. Now, I only have 2 years in this job, which will be you can either look at that as 2 years or short, or 2 years or a lifetime. But I really want to do some things that have an impact on DART. I can't do anything alone. We have a tremendous board with a lot of experience and a desire to really serve the region, and that's important. And that is, if you have that in place, that helps tremendously. But the other thing that I want to do is, Nadine mentioned the strategic plan, and that strategic plan is critical to this organization. What I want to have happen is I want to have that board get their arms around the strategic plan, and we help Nadine and her team drive that forward. In doing so, I would like to see a real focus by our board on where we're going and based on that strategic vision. So we have some work to do in that area, but we're hard at it, and I'll tell you that's going to be important. Probably the last item, and maybe the most important, is to work with our cities so that they understand the value that DART can bring if they don't already. I witnessed that in Richardson, and I know that as I travel the area and see what we're doing around all of our stations and all of our communities, we're all starting to get the importance of that and how valuable DART really is to our communities. So hope we can continue to drive that.
I know the 2 years, I mean, like you said, it can sound longer, it can sound really short for some folks. Within that 2 years, just as part of the strategic plan, I know you said that was like one of the top efforts that you guys are trying to focus on.
Right.
Within that 2 years, what would you say is your top goal from that strategic plan?
I would say it is the last item I mentioned. It is really bringing our cities to understand the tremendous value that we have with DART, that the region has with DART, leverage that, do more, do area planning, do all the things it takes to get, the cities, we just want everybody to really understand what we bring to them. And I think that's critical.
Thank you so much. Nadine, you hit on some very interesting points, and Gary mentioned a few of those in your remarks a few minutes ago, the growth that is coming to the Dallas region, and we know that that is widespread and amazing at the time. So for this audience of government and business leaders, what are some ways we might see DART evolve, and change to serve millions more residents in our region?
Thank you. So one of the biggest things that we're trying to do at DART right now is trying to transform the organization from being an organization that's focused on capital construction and expansion to an organization that's really focused on operations. And the foundation of being an operating organization is the customer. I talked a little bit earlier about elevating the brand experience, and it's really critical for us to understand what our customers need. I came here and I kept saying, we've got to focus on our existing customers first, because customer retention is a much better and enduring marketing strategy than trying to develop new customers. So our intent here is to make sure that existing customers, who are the people who need us the most, have the best services available to them. And if I am convinced that if we have a good service for them, that other people will come. I am certain of that. So what we're trying to do then through our strategic plan is to talk about what quality means. Quality for our customers means that they have confidence in the trip that they're going to take on DART. They know that the bus or the train is going to show up on time. They know that the bus or the train will get them to their destination on time. And it will be easy and convenient no matter how they interact with DART. Our customer information will be clear to them. It'll be easy for them to pay for their trip. And then at the end of the day, we hope that we can surprise them and delight them along their journey. So we want transit to be so easy for people that it is the first thing that people think of when it comes to traveling anywhere in our service area. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is we're really trying to be great at what we do, not just the quality, but in terms of our employees, we're really developing our staff so that everyone understands where we're trying to go as an organization and what we're trying to do for our communities. Because at the end of the day, that pride, that experience that we have and the expertise and the care that we give to our customers will show through our employees. And we can't do the customer experience piece without having a change in culture and an improvement of that pride in our employees. And so we will be focusing inward as well to try to make things so much easier so that our employees can do their best work. And then, of course, the other things that are changing are just working with our stakeholders, which are really our member cities, to make sure that when we provide services to the cities, that they're actually services they can use and need. We've spent a lot of time building out a regional transportation system, an intercity transportation system. Now we want to focus on intra-city travel, trying to help people connect activity centers and destinations within the city boundaries so that we can, like I said earlier, create the additional capacity people need without having to build more street lanes.
I feel like one of the key words in all of that too was just make things easier for for everyone included, right?
For sure.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but I know it's a hard job to make it happen, and you're doing what you got to do. So thank you for that, Nadine. Appreciate it. Michelle, bringing you back in. During your tenure as board chair, you guys celebrated your 40th anniversary of transit service in the North Texas area. What are some lessons you feel the organization has learned in the past 4 decades that will help propel it, especially hearing what Nadine has just mentioned, propel it into this journey moving forward?
Well, I think that working together with our other sister transit agencies for a regional perspective, I mean, being able to go on the Silver Line cross corridor from Richardson through Plano, across North Dallas, Carrollton, all the way to DFW, and then on to Fort Worth. That's that east-west corridor movement that I think that we've learned is very important, is that we have a hub and spoke light rail system, but we need those east-west corridors to be in effect, to be for better mobility. And I think we've learned that by working together regionally and through our representatives at the Capitol, at the federal level, they have worked across party lines, and that's what's so important. And that's my concern, that we continue to work together bipartisan, because when a person rides that bus or that light rail vehicle, they don't care which party you belong to. They care that they've got to go to the hospital, go to the job, go to the grocery store. And so understanding the need for public transit is something that our delegation at the federal level has always been very good at, and I hope to see that. And we've been very successful in showing the value of our regional public transit system at the federal level. And we've recently gotten some great federal grants, and we will continue to do that. That's been very core, and EBJ, as I fondly call her, was very key to that. And we hope that and anticipate that our federal delegation will continue to do that. And so that's, I think, part of the lessons is the cooperation and communication that is core to any successful public transit governmental endeavor.
Gary, I do want to bring you back in. You know, when people think of DART, you think of rail, right? You think of the bus line. What else has the agency been focused on recently? And what other transportation innovations do you expect DART to be a part of over the next decade? You said 36 years, that's in some capacity you've been working with DART. So what do you see DART transitioning to in the next decade?
Well, I'm not sure when some of these things will happen, but they may. I mean, right now, in the next 2 years, maybe next 10 years, we're not going to have buses that fly. We're probably not going to have taxis that fly. We're probably not going to have anything that is unusual, but we'll use technology to do what we do. And, you know, it's really interesting because people do think of us as a bus operation. We do have paratransit. But we have something else which is fairly new to this area. And it's called microtransit, and it's sort of a downsized version of what you get with a bus. Smaller vehicles, picking people up at home, taking them to a transit center, the hospital, another destination. We call it GoLink, but that has really caught on because we can reach people who have a difficult time getting to a bus stop, or maybe our bus service just doesn't cover that whole area. So we use GoLink with our technology to help people get to where they need to go. We're the largest provider of microtransit in the country right now, and we just started. I mean, it is really taken off because it satisfies the need of those people in the community, and it's just a fantastic addition to what we already have.
Did everybody catch that? The largest provider of microtransit in the country? That deserves a round of applause. Thank you for sharing that. I know I can hear the echo a little bit, so I just want to make sure if something is unclear. Y'all, please holler at us and say, please repeat that, okay? So thank y'all so much for staying active with us. Okay, so Michelle, I want to bring you back in. You were recently appointed chair of the American Public Transportation Association. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
I want to talk about your involvement. Absolutely. I do want to talk about your involvement with the organization in your new role. Where do you think that DART excels compared to its peers, and what are we learning from other transit agencies?
Oh, that is something near and dear to my heart. So I am constantly trumpeting DART and what we do best at the national level. So it's what we can learn from APTA and what APTA can learn from us. So where we excel at is our workforce development, what we have done. So we have almost 100% filled positions for operators.
Wow.
That is an amazing statistic. We are the envy of transit agencies across the nation, and I'm always stopped and say, how did you do that? And it is, there's not a quick answer, it is a multi-pronged approach. And so transit agencies learned from DART what we do best, which is our workforce, which is our Go Pass, which we are selling to other transit agencies, which makes it easier for riders to get their ticket and ride our systems. What we learned from APTA are how other transit agencies increase their ridership. And one thing that was really fascinating that I just learned was this 3D printing that won an innovation award at APTA, where they use 3D printers to create forms to make parts that are no longer being made or are hard to get and not being manufactured. And I was amazed how that technology has come in to help get parts for buses that are difficult to get because they're not being manufactured anymore. So technology, that's how we use technology. And we've got to look beyond our backyard because we can always do better. But if we just look in our backyard, we're not going to learn anything. And as a board member, and from a policy standpoint, and not only from operations, but a policy standpoint, looking around the nation to see how Philadelphia, SEPTA, LA Metro handled their unhoused challenges, looking internationally as well, looking at Singapore and the innovative land use policy, as well as Spain for their social media campaign that was very successful in bringing support from their residents and from their government to come together and create a better transit system. That's where we learn things, and that's something that we have to do and do better because we can always do better. But I'm very proud of DART, and we have a lot to be proud about here in Dallas and our 13 member cities and in the Metroplex.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Nadine, you talk a lot about beautiful spaces and fantastic spaces, that is. What does that really look like for a transit agency?
I love talking about fantastic spaces.
I know.
So when I think of fantastic spaces, I think of the great plazas of Europe where people, not cars, where people convene and do all kinds of things. They celebrate things. They do shopping with all the commercial retail space that's available there. They go eat. They hang out and they enjoy life and they enjoy their cities. They enjoy the atmosphere that they're surrounded by. And what we want to do is we want to take, for example, at any of our park and rides, we have these big parking lots, surface parking lots, just asphalt, right? With lots of parking spaces, sometimes 600 spaces. And it's the separation between our station platform, our rail platform, and the neighboring community. And what we want to do is fill in that void, because right now we only have about 10% of our parking lots being used. So to me, I'm thinking, oh, okay, let's fill in that space with some other use. Let's fill it up with a park, or let's fill it up with some commercial centers where people can come and they can do business and they can congregate and they can socialize and they can do all these things that people want to do in their neighborhoods, and it'll be walkable. It'll be walkable within, a stone's throw from their homes. And so it'd be a great place for them to convene and just, hang out. And it can be any kind of space that's activated for the use of the people. When I think about our built environment, so much of our built environment here in North Texas is centered around the car, and usually a single occupant vehicle, right? One car, one driver. And as I mentioned before, it takes up a lot of space. And that, we do that because we're trying to be efficient. We want people to move quickly. But what comes with that? What comes with that is lots of accidents between pedestrians and cars, and cars and bikes as well. And what I think people want is a safe space for them to bring their kids to enjoy the atmosphere and the surroundings that they have. I live near Clyde Warren Park, and on a weekend, people bring their kids there because they know their kids aren't going to get hit by a car within the park. And so it's really important for us to think about our cities and our spaces as places for people and not for cars. So our Fantastic Spaces is all about elevating those investments, partnering with our cities to envision what could be in these parking lots instead of what's there.
So, I'm a journalist, so I got a follow-up question. When you talk about those spaces and what you envision, can you share a little bit about what that could look like?
Gosh, I have all kinds of ideas. How much time do you have? I mean, I mentioned parks already. I mean, we could fill it in with housing, workforce housing, which is something that's just desperately needed in this area. We can fill it in with a combination, mixed use is what we call it in our wonky terms, but mixed use where you combine housing with retail and with restaurant establishments, businesses, and we can also provide services. We can partner with our cities to house some of city services there. We can have places like bike stations where people can ride their bikes from their neighborhood to this activity center. We can have concerts there. We can have all kinds of festivals and events. And we actually have examples like that right now, even in Richardson too, because we just saw an example of a park space, a linear park space that's right near our station in downtown Richardson.
Very nice. I guess I opened up a can. You're like, look, I got all
I got
kinds
all
of
day.
ideas. I want to get to this question because it's something that each of you have touched on, and you're all right. How important is the collaboration on the local, state, federal level to accomplish the goals that you're talking about? Michelle, of course, I'm going to start with you. How do you get your arms around navigating so many different governmental entities to accomplish those shared goals? And one of the things I've heard you mention several times, you keep saying communication, communication, communication. I wonder if there's an issue with communication that we need to all get together and work together to fix.
Well, you're exactly right. The two things that are, I think, critical is collaboration and communication. And having the relationships both at the national level as well as the local level are critical. And that comes with developing relationships and going out and meeting with the FTA, the FRA, and going to Capitol Hill and meeting your representatives and explaining the business proposition of why public transit is important. It's more than just getting people to where they need to go, but for every dollar that is invested in public transit, there is a $5 economic return. That's huge. For every person that uses public transit, they save $13,000 a year. Wow. So these are numbers that come from APTA, and that's the benefit of being active in APTA and going to APTA, is that they have the data that you can use to make that business case. And why is it important for someone in South Carolina to be invested in public transit and get that support to Chicago, for example, and get a project going, is because they buy products in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So just because you're approving a project in Dallas doesn't mean that the money is only benefiting Dallas, because we are national and international, but it comes from other cities, and they all work together. It's the synergy from our business members, for our CEOs, and from our transit board members, that we all work together at all levels, and that means better collaboration and communication. That's critical.
Dean or Gary, did either of you want to weigh in on the collaboration component?
Well, I think it's everybody out here today can help us with that, because, it is a large job, but we have connections. We have people here who are on city councils. We have people that are that have relationships with government officials. We have people that would like to talk to us about their experiences. We have people that can go to their city councils and talk about their experiences. It's communicating across the whole region on what we have, what we do, what we like about it, what maybe should change. Where we need help is also in just funding. There's a lot of funding available that maybe we can't get our hands on, but can be worked through our city relationships with federal government and state government. So just a variety of things that require a lot of communication. And Nadine manages that whole thing just quite well.
I know that's right. You're like, I'm leaving that to Nadine.
There you go.
I have one last question. I want to hear from everybody on this one as we wrap this thing up. Give us one action item for the audience. So if y'all haven't been paying attention, this is the part where we're going to take notes, okay? One action item for the audience to support DART in its journey forward. I'll start with you, Nadine.
Come on the journey with us. Follow what we're doing. Come tell us how you can help us. I think just coming on this journey with us is so important because we need all the help we can get. We definitely want to be that economic and mobility asset for our community. And I think that, it's not a one size fits all. We need to hear from people what's working, what's not working, and we need to know how we can be better. I always talk about how we want to cultivate partners for life. And part of that is a courtship, right? And I always use this analogy because I think it's really important for people to understand that we want to be in a long-term relationship with our customers, with our cities. And, as in every relationship, sometimes things don't go well. But that doesn't mean we don't want to be in the relationship. So what we want is for people to love DART. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Invest in public transit. It will pay dividends, not only to your residents, but to your businesses and to your economic health.
We do need people's help. We do need input. As Nadine said, it's extremely important. As we go out to reach out to our cities, see what more we can do, it's really important to get that feedback. Cities need to understand from the community that this is really important. And that importance goes a long way. Communicating the importance goes a long way. So not only do we need you on our journey, we need you to help us move things in a direction we're heading.
Did you learn something? Can we give a round of applause for all three? Okay. This has truly been an enlightening conversation. I want to thank you all again for joining us and everybody in the audience, of course, for being here and for inviting me to be your MC. I want to say one more time, thank you again to our presenting sponsor, ACOM, as well as AT&T Performing Arts Center, our rider level sponsor. Please remember to use those tap cards to take a DART ride soon, okay? I've done it. I tried it out, maybe about a year ago, less than a year ago, excuse me. And I went all the way south and came back to downtown. So I know how it is. I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. And I appreciate all the efforts that you're doing to try to make this thing and take it up a notch. So thank you all. Please enjoy dessert and coffee as you mingle. Well, I don't know if that coffee is going to go well with all that alcohol y'all had earlier, but enjoy coffee and dessert, okay, as you mingle with friends and colleagues. We're in here till about 7:30. So thank you all again. Give a round of applause to yourselves for being a part of this.